Okay, in the course of our learning, I have the basic Mikdash, for Shalema, for Yechiel Nasan and Ben Sarah, and the Panacea. Okay, we're going to start 3 lines from the wide lines on Ayin Hey. I took it out for you, but I may borrow it. Okay, you use it. Ksiv, you see Ksiv Lechem, Ksiv Shemek, Ksiv Dvash? We're in the middle of a discussion about the man. We got into discussing the mana, because we're talking about being afflicted on Yom Kippur. And we said that being afflicted is referring to not eating. And we learned that from the man, where it says that I afflicted you and I fed you the man. And we explained why the man was considered affliction. So regarding the man, Ksiv Lechem, it says Lechem in Hashemayim. It says bread, it's called bread. Ksiv Shemen says that it tasted like oil, like cakes of oil. Ksiv Dvash, and it also says that it was like honey. So Amar Rabbi Yosi bar Rabbi Chanina, Rabbi Yosi bar Rabbi Chanina says it depends for who. Lanarim is lechem. Lanarim sounds like teenagers. They ate like a loaf of bread. Yeah. These guys tell me in college they ate a whole pie of pizza. They ate bread, Lizakenim, shemen. For the elders, it was oil. I think it means like fatty foods. And Latinoicus, it was davash. For children, it was honey. Children like sweets. So the man had its flavor or it's not texture. Whatever it was for each age group. Ksiv Slav, Karinan Slav. Well, actually, I should say Ksiv Shlav, the Karinan Slav. It's written Shlav, but we read it as Slav, as a sin instead of a shin. Amar Rabbi Chanina. Is Rabbi Chanina's son? Rabbi Chanina was a famous Amira, an early Amira. Rabbi Chanina bar Chama was his name, a very important Amira. Teacher of Rabbi Chanina. Anyway, now it's Rabbi Chanina in Eretz Yisrael. Tzadikim oichlem. I'm sorry, I'm skipping something. Amar Rabbi Chanina. Tzadikim oichlem oisim b'shalva. B'shem oichlem oisay v'daim oisay kesilvam. The tzadikim ate the slav in salvo in peace. But the Rishonim ate it and it was like thorns. I thought that we learned before that tzaddikim didn't eat it. That's why we skipped it. It says Tebeinim it tasted like this, and the Rishonim, and it skipped the tzaddikim. I don't know the explanation for that, unless it means not in the desert. Maybe it means just in general slav. Quail. Yeah, I know, but the tzaddikim definitely didn't ask for it. But if you look up, it says, Abasai didn't mention name, Ksivat Chideshamim HaKetzad, Beinim La'alter Mesu, Hashem Mitztam Elchamat Chideshamim. What happened to the tzaddikim? Maybe the tzaddikim ate it, but they didn't die. Now, this would explain that. The tzaddikim ate it in peace. The Rishonim made it, and it tasted, and it was like thorns. Yeah, there's certain fruits that if you eat them before they're ripe, they say it has like fiberglass texture in the mouth. It makes that it like torments the tongue and everything. Okay. Rabbi Chanan bar Rava Dalid mini Slavim. Rabbi Chanan bar Rava says that there's 4 types of slav. The Eluhain. It's going to give us a list. We don't know what these birds are. Shechli, Kivli, Pisyane, Slav. Okay. 4 types of slav. Malia the Kula Shechli. The best of them all is the Sichli. Great the Kulu is Slav, but the worst is the Slav. This is all quail, names of different quails. Vahava Kitziporta. and it's like a bird, a small bird. They have the description of the small bird. They say which bird it is. It's just a small bird. Those finches. You put it in the oven, the tafach, and it swells. It fills up the whole oven. They put it on to lesa on 13 loaves of bread. They have like stacks of bread. They put this bird on top. It's very oily. And the oil drips to the bottom one. It's so oily that the bottom one can't be eaten plain. You have to eat it with in a mixture. Rav Yehuda Mishtakach le Beidani. Rav Yehuda would find this bird between his barrels. Yeah, we're now in Bavel discussing this. Rav Chanan bar Rava sounds like Bavel also. Rav Chizda Mishtakach le Beitzivi. He found that he would find this bird between the between the wood pile. Tzivi is wood. Rava Maisi le Arisa Kol Yaima. Rava every day. Is Aris. Aris is the guy that works the field, sharecropper. He would bring him a bird. I see one day he doesn't come. I'm like, my hi, what's going on? No quail today for lunch. Salak Ligra, he goes up to the roof. Shami Lianuka de Kamar, he hears a child that's saying, Shamati Batigras Bitni. I heard in my innards were like shuddering. Amar, so Rava says, Shmamina nach nafshi de Rav Chizda. We see that probably Rav Chizda passed away. Now, Rava is a student of Rav Chizda. He's also a son-in-law of Rav Chizda. Badil Rabba achal talmida. And because of the teacher, the student was eating. That means that he wasn't getting it in his own merit. He was getting it in the merit of his teacher. Teacher passed away, and he stopped getting it. Trying to figure out if this is that how it works? The teacher passes away, and then it must mean that now the student has to get it in his own merit. So that requires more work from Rabbi. He was relying on Rav Chizda teaching. Right. Okay, we have different verses that we're referring to the man. It says that when the dew came down, the man came on top of it. It also says that when the dew rose, the man was underneath it. So what's going on? Is the dew under the man or is the dew over the man? Oh, yeah. Yitzi has a pshat in this Rav Chizda and Rava. He says the father-in-law passed away, now the son-in-law has to get a job. So Rabbi Yossi Bar Chanina explains Tal Milmaila, Tal Milmata, it had protection. The man was on the bottom, underneath it had dew, and above it there was dew. It was like in a container, in a box. Yeah, but not as a sandwich. It's because it was just like in a bag, so think of dirty it was. Dak mechusbas. What is that? Tupperware. It was fine, and mechusbas is translated as flaky. Amar Rish Lakish, davar shenimuach al pisa sayad. Rish Lakish says that mechusbas is a compound word. If you read it slow, it's nimuach al pisa sayad, mechusbas. It dissolves on the palm. Like I think they have these these things you put on your tongue for breath. Listerine, those strips. So if you leave them, like if they warm up, do they dissolve? So this is what the man was like that. You left it on your hand, it would dissolve. It will dissolve. Okay. Rabbi Yochanan Amar davar shenibla b'masayim v'arbaim u'shmeina ivarim. See, with the Listerine, they said that the worse it tastes, the more people think it works. It's got to taste really horrible. And say, oh, this is good stuff. Okay, so Rabbi Yochanan says that what is mechuspas? Mechuspas means that it gets absorbed into 248 limbs. How do you get that? Because the word mechuspas is the gematria of 248. The Gemara says 1 second. Mechuspas tuvahavi. Mechuspas is actually 254. It's more than that. You see, samach and samach. 120 and 80 is 200. Mem is 240. The ches is 248, and then the vav makes it 254. Amar Rav Nachman Yitzchak mechuspas ksiv. It's written without the vav. Okay, let's take a look. That's correct. What's that? Gillian says. Yeah. The Gillian Ashas, if you remember himself, the Shabbos, had a whole list of the Gillian Ashas and Shabbat Kivein, a whole list of differences between the Gemara's text of the Torah and Ha'adik. It's very small, above this, that. It's not, no change of words, but change of the vowels. Some vowels are, you have it, it's written with a letter. Kitana Rabbanan. It's taught in a brisa. Lechem abirim achalish. Bread of the strong man ate.
Excuse me, is this the first supernatural example of transdermal, the equivalent of transdermal medicine?
Every word. That's
It would melt in your
great word.
palm, but feed the body.
Where you could find those
They're
words.
skipping the eating.
Oh, I didn't realize that that's how it was working. I just thought that it was the melting in your palm meant not that. Well, you have to do it. Yeah, if you put it in your palm, it would melt, but you eat it with a spoon, or you
pick it up and
yeah. I don't know if that means that when the body was nourished through the palm.
To Marasha, it was delicate food that melted in the palm and was fully absorbed in the body.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, the doctor's quoting the Marsha. That this is the first example of transdermal medicine, food, that it goes through, that you don't have to eat it, it goes through the body. It's a patch. It's like the patches. So now it says lechem abir machlish lechem shemalach yashar seichel ma'aseh. It's bread that the angels eat, food that the angels eat. Rabbi Akiva. What's lechem abirim? What's abirim? Abirim are the strong ones. They're the angels. That's what Rabbi Akiva says. When they said this in front of Rabbi Yishmael, Amar Lahem, Tzuv Amar Laila Akiva. Oh, that's interesting. It says, go tell Akiva to Yisir. Akiva, you're making a mistake. Did the angels eat bread? Like Parnemar, Lechem Layachalti, Maim Lashasisi. It says, by Moshe, he goes up to heaven, he doesn't eat. Why? Because over there, no one eats. The angels don't eat. Now, what are you telling me that Lechem Abirim, that the food of the angels, the men ate, referring to the man? Angels don't eat food. So what do you mean by Abirim? It's lechem shenivla b'masayim v'arba'im u'shmeina ivarim. It's not abirim, it's ivarim. It's the limbs. It's the bread that gets absorbed into the limbs. There should be a shovel with you. What is Allah Zinecha? that they would have to go to the bathroom, they should take a shovel with them. They should cover it over. That's one of the commands in the camp, that they should take a shovel. So they would go outside. So the problem here is that Rabbi Shmuel saying that they didn't go to the bathroom because lechem abirim means that everything got absorbed. So why did they need a shovel? Giving them a command that wasn't necessary. I don't know what Zinepha means here. Together with your tools, I think. Together with your armor. How do they translate Zinepha? Yeah.
I don't know, but I was thinking of.
I think it means together with the tools.
But also, even with an Evan Ivri,
Among your weapons, it means weapons.
What's the term for Avri? So
was not now.
Chamushim. Yeah. So together with the weapons, a soldier needs to have also a shovel. Yeah, and his keychain. Yeah. His Swiss Army knife. It has a shovel. So the problem is that that's in the desert they didn't need it because they ate the man. They didn't have to go to the bathroom. Well, they would go and they would buy from merchants in the desert. I don't know if there's something. It's in Sefer Dvarim of Gimel. Kisei Tzela Muhammad, maybe. Somewhere around there. Okay. Yeah, the kids go to the camps, the trips. They go on trips. So anyway, they ask for spending money. They have to buy something over there. They have everything. The camp provides everything. Yeah. Okay, so the people in the desert, they would buy from the just to get something different. Rabbi Lazar ben Parta Omer af dvarim shetagri umasailam meichem lem man mapigan. Rabbi Lazar ben Parta says no. The man would dissolve, and everything that they would buy from the peddlers as well, and it would cause everything to get absorbed. So then, what do I attribute that pasuk that they need to have a shovel with the weapons? That's after they complained about the man. It stopped working the same way. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem says, Ani amarti yukim malachi yasharis. I said that you'll be like the angels. Achshav ani matriach haisam shalish parsais. Now you're going to have to walk 3 parsais to use the bathroom. They complained. They said, we'll see in a moment. They said, is it possible for people to eat and not use the bathroom? It's okay. You want to use the bathroom? Okay, you'll have to use the bathroom. And now you have to go find the outhouse. Indoor plumbing in the desert. So the ksiv v'yachnu al yardim b'si shimeis adav alashitim, that was the place where they camped right before the Yarden. And V'amar Rabba Bar Bechana l'dichazili, Rabba Bar Bechana says, I saw the place. Who Astra? V'havit klasa parsi, and it was 3 parsais. 3 parsais. A parsa is he saw the place of Avel Ashitim till Besi Yeshimis. He says it's 3 parsais, and now he knows how big the camp is. So each parsa was 3,000. I'm sorry, a parsa was 3 mil or 4 mil. Parsa was 3 mil, I think. Each mil is 2,000 ams. 4 mil. Parsa is 4 mil. So yeah, and each mil is 2,000 amas. So that's 8,000 amas. And there's 3 of them. There's 24,000 amas. A big area.
But people would have to walk back from wherever they were.
They would have to go to the bathroom and then come back.
Yeah, but I'm saying the people in the front would go back and rebound the ones.
Okay, so 1 second. The Tana, it was taught, they wouldn't go to the bathroom in the front of the camp, or to the sides of the camp. They could only go backwards because they weren't allowed. Yeah, why weren't they allowed? Maybe it wasn't respectful, or maybe because they were going to walk over that area. Probably because it wasn't respectful. Now our souls are dry. We have nothing. Something's going to happen. We're going to explode. We're eating this, and we're never using the bathroom. This doesn't sound good, right? This is something's about to happen. Is it possible for a human being that's going to eat and not expel? So, okay. Yeah, I don't know there's like a jump over here in the text. The Gra takes it out, but let's read it. When the words of Rabbi Elazar ben Parta were said in front of Rabbi Yishmael, we're going back on that even the things that they purchased would get absorbed into the limbs. So what is this for? The shovel, that's only for after they complain. Don't call it abirim, ela ivarim. This things that came from a different country. Is that a big difference than things that the peddlers brought? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's peddlers that were all around the middle of the desert in Sinai.
Once in 66, when the Grok came something.
I don't know. I don't know if he had manuscripts. Definitely had confidence. You see what that abbreviation? Tevas Elu Mechuka in the Gra. Tough Aleph name. Tevas Elu Mechuka in the Gra. He puts in parentheses Kshnebra Chula. I'm not going to Gra. It says Tevas Tough Aleph name. Tevas Elu Mechuka. Mechuka are erased. These words are erased. They should be erased. Okay. Yeah, they say in there's this like tradition that the Alter Rebbe was commented that he was afraid to speak to the Gra learning because he may quote manuscripts that the Gra had gotten from Rome. Somehow the Gra had access to the manuscripts, and the Alter Rebbe is learning. If he quoted an ayah of the manuscript, it becomes very tough. So, okay. Morning. Okay. We're going to the top of Ayin Vav. This is referring to Yeshua. Who's the Ish? The man ate man. This is referring to Yeshua, that the man came down for him, corresponding to all the Jewish people. Now, does that mean that all the Jewish people had man because of Yeshua? I'm not sure what that means. See, Yeshua is the Ish. Very good. And it says, Lachem Abir Machalish. A man ate the man. Gemara says, Ve'ima Moshe. How do you know it's Yeshua? It says, Ve'ish Moshe, the Ksiv Ish Moshe, son of Moed. It says, Moshe was Ish. It says, done in Ish mi Ish, vein done in Ish mi Ha-Ish. Ha-Ish is something else. Yeah, this we had in Pesachim also. Ha-Adam. Adam or Ha-Ad. Adam or no, what did it say over there? We wanted to know if when it says Adam, if it means a Jewish person or not, and we brought a proof. And then we said, oh, you can't compare Adam to Adam. Mi v'ha-ish. Mi v'ha-ish. Because the
but then
pasuk
the
says
pasuk talks about
v'ha'ish.
Ishmael.
Pasuk says v'ha'ish. Yeah, I'm ignoring the vav here, and I'm just emphasizing the hey because it's the hey that's what's knocking out this lima. Shalu Talmid of Reb Shimon ben Yochai. Students asked Reb Shimon ben Yochai, "V'pnei ma la'yard lem Yisrael man pamachas b'shana." Why didn't the man come once a year? We should have. This is how it works with the grain. You do the harvest, you collect it all, you have it for the whole year, put it in storage, and then you're good to go. He said to them, I'll give you a parable. You know what this is similar to? To a king that has a prince, he has a son. He gives him his food once a year. It's called a credit card. He would come once a year to get the renewed credit card. It has an expiration date. So the pasuk mezenaisa b'chol yom. So he changes it. Like you have to come every day, get the day pass, in the restaurant. So then he would start it to come every day. Af Yisrael, also the Jewish people. Someone that has 4 or 5 children, he would say, this is an interesting small family. That's the option. Yeah, this is psychologist Atara Malach. She's a Gerer family. It's very quick. She speaks very sharp. Anyway, she said, I don't care if you have 8 or 18 children. 8 is the smallest. Anyway, here, someone has 4 or 5 children. Maybe how do you know the month's going to come? So then everyone is davening that they should be able to get the food for tomorrow. So this is a way of keeping everyone connected to Hashem. Another pshat, it's also good because it's fresh.
Very similar to what he told us last week.
The snake. Yeah.
Kind of a twist on it. But it's
Why? Because we're not sure if we're going to have tomorrow. So also it comes fresh. You get it fresh when it's you get it every day. Yeah, how are they going to carry it? That's a big problem. The Kvar Haya Reb Tarfon Rabbi Yishmael is came Yesh V'Veisim Parshas Aman. Yeah, why did it say Kvar Haya? I guess that's what it was quoting. That's how it's written over there in the Matilta. Yes. It says that Reb Tarfon, Rabbi Yishmael, the Sekenim are sitting and they're involved in the Parsha Aman. That's what they're studying. Rabbi Elazar Medai Yeshuv b'nei Rabbi Elazar Medai was sitting there with him. Rabbi Elazar Medai is not quoted often in the Gemara. He's in the Mishnah. He's in Pirkei Avos. He's the one that says that because of certain things, exile comes onto the people because of Shemitah. Remember that? He was also a relative of Bar Kokhba. He was an uncle of Bar Kokhba. But they told the Romans that the reason why Bar Kokhba was so victorious is because Rabbi Elazar Medai is davening. So someone infiltrated the camp, whispered something to Rabbi Elazar Medai, and they said, "What did he tell you?" He said, "Anyway, they killed Rabbi Elazar Medai because they thought that he was a spy. That's how they got and then after that they overpowered." Okay. So Rabbi Elazar Medai was sitting there. Nana Rabbi Elazar Medai v'amar man she'ad lam Yisrael hayagvaya shishim ama. The man that came down was 60 amas high. And that's a tall building. Right? Yeah, six stories probably.
Wait, does that mean there was one who pile and everyone grabs from it?
No, so they can guide one of the doors.
No, that's what I'm saying. So what is this? This is the.
Well, this was for the Rishon that had to go out and gather it. That's how much. So they can guide it deliver.
No.
Everybody else, the average Joe,
Would go
They had to
and
walk out.
from the same pile.
will walk out here.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, because I thought they would just go and like lick it, you know,
Right,
or just pick up what's on the ground. I guess.
right.
Or unless it's saying,
Yeah, this is.
unless it's saying that everything had you collected all of it, it would have been.
I don't think so. I don't think so. It sounds like it's 60 amas, at least the way they're understanding it. Look at what it says. Amalei Reb Tarfon. Reb Tarfon says, "Maidai." You know, what's the city? Modin. Ad masayat megaviv dvarim umepi aleinu. How long are you going to collect these things and bring them to us? That means, like, you tell us these like wild statements, and then you share them with us. When is this going to stop? Amalei Rebbe. He says, so apparently he's younger than Reb Tarfon because he's talking to him like a kid, you know, Maidai. So he says, Rebbe, Mikrani Dairish. I learned it from a pasuk. 15 amas, the water was raised and it covered the mountains. What's going on over here? It can't be 15 amas higher than the valleys, and 15 amas higher than the flatlands, and 15 amas higher than the mountain. What is it like? V'chimaya shuri shurikami is the water standing in steps, right? That you have 15 amas wherever from every spot. So va'oid teva hechisagi. How could the teva flow like that? You can't like jump down and jump up and up the Ella Nivku kol mayanais tahim rabba dashvo maya bahadituri. What happened is in the ground, all the aquifers opened up, all the springs opened up, and the water was equal to the mountains. And then after it was equal to the mountains, it went 15 amas above the mountains also, but it was all equal at all the times.
Sea level is sea level. I mean, why do you even ask a question of, it's water down here, water, it's equal everywhere.
That's the question.
Yeah, but I mean, even to ask the question seems like it's not worth asking. Where were you at? Sea level is sea level.
But then they wouldn't cover the mountain. If it was 15 amas above sea level, then it would not have covered the mountain. And if you covered the mountains and sea level, so then you would have steps.
But you can't have
That's what I'm saying. If you say 15 over sea level, then it wouldn't work. That's what he's saying. I'll take the company. That's what and that's what he's saying. That yeah. I know.
You go up to the mountain and you have 15.
No, the problem is if you look at the pasuk, the pasuk says that the 15 amas the water raised,
Right.
and then it says and it covered the mountain. Now,
How could it go 15 over sea level? That wouldn't cover the mountain.
what does it mean 15 amas and it covered the mountain? 15
I mean,
amas of
it
what?
should have been reversed.
Right.
The water came up.
Well, we don't know.
And then it rained. Another
Right.
But the Torah
It didn't say that. So it says, where's the 15 amas from? So maybe it means 15 amas everywhere. The problem is 15 amas everywhere doesn't make sense. It can't be 15 amas here and 15 amas there. Okay, now Rabbi Elazar Medai goes on. It says like this: what's the stronger attribute? Mida taiva, mida pranus. The attribute for good or for punishment? Retribution. Haviyamer mida taiva, mida pranus. We say that mida taiva is stronger. The good attribute is stronger. Mida pranus, when it comes to punishment, it says varuba samayim ashamayim niftachu. Arubais are windows. They're like skylights. The windows of the heaven opened up. Mida taiva huaymer. But when it comes to the good attributes, it says, commanded the clouds from above, and the doors of the heavens opened. By Yam Terleim on Lechel, and it rained down the man for them to eat, and it gave them the grain from the heaven. Kama arubas yesh bedelis. How many windows are in a door? Depends which door. I think they're saying like an average door, or an average window, how many of them could fit to a door? They say, well, it's about 4. Arba. There would be 4 windows per door. Okay. Harikan Shmaina. So the problem is that it says dalse. So it's double. Yeah. The dalse, the doors of the heaven open. So that means arubais. There were 2 windows. There's 8. So there's 2 windows and 8, and then and 2 doors. But that means that there's 4 times the amount when it comes to the man. Okay. Because 4 times 15 is 60. See where I got? This is what Rebbe Lozer Midoya is saying. I got that the man is 60 amos high because the doors open up.
It sounds like that.
Instead of the windows open up. Yeah, it sounds like that. I got it. The hand versus the finger. So yes, the doors to the window. Tanya. Isi ben Yehuda, Imer Manshir, Lam Yisrael, Miskaber Vela Troy, Sekam Malachi, Mizrach Hamayra. Isi ben Yehuda, was that what we said before? This is Isi ben Goria, which is Isi Babli. Remember Gemara like that? Was that Isi ben Yehuda? On the top of the page somewhere. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Yosef Yeshutzel, Yosef Ababli, who Isi ben Yehuda, Isi ben Gorari, who Isi ben Gamliel, Isi ben Malo, Mashmai, Isi ben Akavishma. Okay. Yeah, that was not basic. So, yeah, it must have been the Tzadikim, it came right there. And the Beinanim, where they had to go outside,
that was the plan.
Get it, there was a thing that says Beinanim, take from here. Rishayim, there was a big pile out there.
2 great ones.
They were delivered.
Is that a thing, Juba?
No.
Oh.
I'm invested in it.
What?
In Juba.
Juba? Doesn't mean you want to get
Okay, so Isi ben Yehuda says, Manshir, Lemisali, Miskaber Vaila, Tresaka, Kal Malchi Mizrach, Malachi Mizrach, Mayra, that all the kings were able to see the man. It was so high that everyone could see it. Set the table before me in front of my enemies. Okay. See, all the enemies were able to see the pile of mud. My cup has overflowed. Right?
Wait a minute, there were no enemies in the desert.
We're saying even from all the surrounding countries, we're able to see the man. It was so tall. Could see it from space. Amarabaya Shmamina Kisei the David Casa the David La'amadasi Masan Vesin Bechad Luga. David Amelech is going to have a large cup. It's going to hold 221 lugim. Lugamasa. Never Kaisir Ravaya. Because it says what's a revius is, I think, a quarter of the lug. So we do a kiddush cup is supposed to be a revius. This is 221 times 4. Kiddush cup. So in Revaya is the gematria hachi havi. Revaya is the gematria of 221. 221. Yeah, but they say that Kugel is the gematria Shabbos. The problem is that Shabbos is much more than Kugel. So it's okay, so eat some more Kugel. The Gemara says, Halay Damya, Hassan Barba and Yemen, Achachad Shaita. Gemara is going back asking a question. When you comparing the man to the rain rained for 40 days, and the man came every day. So in the time that it takes, you can't compare and say that over 40 days with 2 windows, it raised 15 amas. And here, every single day with doors, it's going to be 4 times that. You have to take the time into account also, right? There's a factor that this wasn't factored in. So the Gemara says, Hasam l'kuli alma hachal Yisrael. Another question. Hasam l'kuli alma hachal Yisrael l'chadei v'nafesh l'trei. That was the whole world. Here it's to the Jewish people. It's just in one area. See, the Gemara is saying that the flood was everywhere. Yeah, that's a discussion. Was the flood in the whole world, over the whole earth, or was it just in the area, in that Fertile Crescent?
Because if it was everywhere, then you have the kings elsewhere looking at what you just said, that the Pio and Salai, they were obviously
No, 1 second. 1 second. We're comparing here the flood by Noah.
Yeah.
So we're saying that flood to the man that came down. So the man, the thing is that I think every civilization has a flood story. So okay. So the problem is that here it would be, because it's collected in one area, would be much higher than 60. He's learning from Gzeir Shabbat. He's not actually saying how much could have come out. He's taking the words, it's a verbal analogy. And from the words, he learns that it was 15 and this is 4. This is 4 times that, so that's how we learned it out. It's not that we're doing the math based on how much area. Okay, Asr Bachila. It's forbidden to eat on Yom Kippur. What do these 5 afflictions correspond to? It says 5 times Inoy in the Torah. It says Ba'asar, V'ach Ba'asar, Shabbos Shabbosin, V'Shabbos Shabbosin, V'Haisa Lachem. All of those are the different verses that mention the Inoyim. Over there, each one it says Tanu or Vinisim. Hani Chamisha Avi, Manan Shita Tanan. You're saying there's only 5 things, 5 afflictions? There's really 6. The Gemara says Shia B'chlal Achilahi. The drinking is included in eating, so that gets counted as 1. Then there's only 5. Rish Lakish, Minayin L'Shtia B'chlal Achila. Rish Lakish says, how do you know that drinking is like eating? It's included in eating. Shenemar, it says in the pasuk, V'achalta l'fnei Hashem Malikecha. You'll eat in front of Hashem your God. Masir Degancha Terecha V'Tzerecha. The tithe of your grain, your wine, and your oil. It says, eat the wine. Tirish Chamrahu. Tirish is wine. Kari Leva Chalten. It says that you'll eat. You see, when it's talking about drinking, it uses the term eating. It means it's one category. Mimai. How do you know that? Dilma Dachle Al Yidei Nigrin. Maybe you're going to eat it together with this dip. A nigrin was a beet juice. Maya the silka, the Gemara Bracha says. They would mix olive oil in it. Maybe it's a nigrin.
Records of the time, he said,
A nigrin.
fish guts. Something is done to the certain method of wine together.
Wow. The Gemara in Bracha says a nigrin is Maya the silka. It says that it's beet water. What the Gemara says. Oh, the Gemara, he quotes it over here. Dama Rabba Vashmol, we have it in Brachas also, we have it here. A nigrin Maya the silka. Achsigrin, here it's a little different. Over there in Brachos, it doesn't say Achsigrin, it says Ansigrin, something like that. Achsigrin Maya the Kulashalki. It's the water from all the vegetables that are cooked. Now, I think what the Gemara is telling me is that it's not just the water, but there's also eating with it. You also eat something with it. Otherwise, it won't make sense what the Gemara is trying to do right here. It's trying to tell us that you're eating it, you're not drinking it. Maybe you have this wine mixed in and it's considered eating because it's mixed into this mixture. Ella Amar Rav Acha bar Yaakov Mehacha. Rav Acha bar Yaakov says he learned it from here. It says, "V'nasata kesef b'chol shetav nafshcha." No, we're looking for that a liquid should be considered eating. Drinking should be considered. It says that you'll be able to use the money in anything that your heart desires. We're talking about when you go to the Yerushalayim to spend the Meiser money, right? With meat, with cattle and sheep, wine, and with beer. You see, we take it back. It says if you're drinking beer, then that doesn't mix in with what we said before, a nigrin. And at least that's what we're thinking at this point. And so it says that you eat it. When the Gemara says, maybe the beer also went with a nigrin, and you were eating it. It wasn't a drink. I guess you used a spoon. It says, Sheikhar ksiv midi de meshaka. Yeah, my text here is not perfect. It says midi de meshaka. It must be meshaka. It means that it has to cause intoxication. And that would only be with the drink, not with the food. Where it says, how do you know? Dilma devela kilis. Maybe it's this type of devela, it's a fig, right? From this place called kilis. Tanya was starting to brayso achla devela kilis v'shos dvash v'chalav nichnas l'mikdash. Someone eats this type of date, and he drinks honey and milk. Now, honey and milk don't intoxicate, but the date apparently does. And he goes into the Beis Hamikdash. He's chayiv. You're not allowed to go into the Beis Hamikdash intoxicated. Oh, yeah. So what we're seeing is, how do you know that it's sheikhar means something that you eat? I'm sorry, that you drink. Maybe it means something that you eat, and it causes intoxication. Ella, yeah, they have these like Jello shots or something, right? It's filled with alcohol. Yeah. So that would be intoxicating. Ella Yalef Sheikhar min Nasr. We're going to learn Sheikhar from a Nasr. Mala halon yayin afkan yayin. By the Nasr it says that he's not allowed to have yayin v'sheikhar al taste. He's not allowed to drink wine or sheikhar. Now sheikhar turns out in the old Hertz translated sheikhar as beer. Right? And a Nasr is allowed to drink beer. Doesn't mean beer. It means hard wine. It means like cognac, right? Which is wine, which is yeah. So whatever it is, it's a drink. Over there it's wine. Here it's wine. A Nasr is allowed to be drunk. They just can't have wine, right? Makes sense? So the Gemara says v'tiresh. Gemara asks v'tiresh is chamru. How do we get into this? We're discussing that the drinking is in the category of eating, in the same category, because by Meiser it says that that you'll eat your tiresh. Now tiresh is wine. The Gemara asks now, tiresh is really wine? But Tanya, we have a brayso that says like this: if someone takes a vow that he's not going to have any tiresh, also he he's allowed to have all sweets. I'm sorry, he's not allowed to have all sweets, but he's allowed to drink wine. Obviously, tirish is not wine. When it says v'lav chamro, so what are you going to say? Tirish is not wine. Baksiv v'tirish yinoivev b'sules. Tirish causes the virgins to express, to give out. Now, what this is referring to is possibly either basula would be very shy, but the wine causes even someone shy to become louder and to open up. Okay, so you see that it has to be wine. So davar abba min tirish. Now we're talking about when it says tirish, it doesn't mean actual tirish. It means what comes from tirish. What is tirish now? Grapes. The davar abba min tirish. That what comes from the grapes causes the virgins to open up. That the wine and the vats will burst forth. So what do you see? That it's wine. So it says what comes from the grapes will burst forth. Zinus is like adultery, immorality. And wine and tirish takes the heart. So what are we seeing here? We're seeing that tirish needs to be intoxicating. Can't be a grape. It's saying that this causes bad things. Can't be a grape. Ella the kuli alma tirish chamro. The truth is that tirish is a type of wine. However, we said before that someone takes a vow that he's not going to have any tirish, he's allowed to drink wine. That's because in their language, when it comes to Nadarim, you just follow what people use the term for. You don't look up in the dictionary. It's not the proscribed translation. It's the usage, right? That's the usage of the word. And that's on the Nadarim word. Why is it called wine? Why is it called tirish? Wine, the truth is that wine is older than tirish. Tirish is like when it's early stages, like grape juice type. Yayin causes yilala is like wailing. Why? Because wine causes immorality. And then after immorality comes punishment. So ultimately it leads to bad things. And tirish is anyone anyone that drinks it becomes poor. This is referring to tirish as the earlier stages. Why did they become poor? They could have waited. I think this is the pshat. They could have waited for it to become wine, and then it would have more value. But they're impulsive. This is like the impulsive shopper. That you have to let things sit and to get more value. Rav Kana Rami. Rav Kana posed a contradiction. Ksiv tirish v'karin and tirish. Tirish. It says tirash v'karin and tirish. So zacha nasirish. When it comes to this wine, if you merit, become a leader. Lay zacha nasirish. But if you don't merit, it becomes poor. Behind the Rava, and this is what Rava says, because the Rava also made a contradiction. It says yisamach v'karin and yismach. I'm not sure where the word is. And there's also two ways of doing this. It's either, possibly it's supposed to be a hey at the end. Zacha misamchay. If he merits, then the wine makes him happy. Lo zacha mishamamai. If he doesn't merit, it makes him shimon. What is that? Crazy. And this is what Rava says. Chamar v'reichani pikchen. Wine and nice smells makes me smart. Yeah, the Alter Rebbe brings us in Tanya. Using things for klipas nega for kedusha could be things could be elevated. Yeah, I said I went to one of Elchanan's dinners once. They served wine and meat. Anyway, in the morning I had to prepare the daf. I woke up. I couldn't think. Anyway, I came to the shir. Afterwards, I told my daughter, I said, I couldn't think this morning. It was so hard. I was trying to prepare. I said, yeah, it's because you didn't have wine and meat. Like in Tanya, it says. I said, no, it's because I did. Okay. Now the Gemara goes to Rechitza and Sicha. Rechitza is washing and washing or bathing, and Sicha is ointment that is forbidden on Yom Kippur. You can put on lotion. Minolan Dikrin, how do you know that refraining from bathing and lotions is called affliction? Lechem chamudis layachalti. I didn't eat desirable bread. And I didn't. This is Daniel. Wine and meat didn't come to my mouth. And I didn't put on ointments. My lechem chamudis. Okay, we get distracted over here. We digress. My lechem chamudis layachalti. What does it mean, desirable bread? Amar Rav Yehuda, brother of Shmuel bar Shilas. Rav Yehuda, the son of Rav Shmuel bar Shilas, says, "Afilu nama dechiti dechiasa layachal." Dechisa. He didn't have any clean wheat. It wasn't white bread. Yeah. Minalan dechashiv kine. How do you know that this is considered an affliction? That he didn't have the ointments? The Ksiv Yomi Eli says to me, Al tira Daniel. Don't be afraid, Daniel. From the day that you put it to your heart to understand, to afflict yourself in front of Hashem, your words were heard. I have come in your words because they're desirable. Okay, so we see that what he was doing was considered an affliction. Ashkechan sicha. You see that he didn't put on ointments, and that's considered lehasanes. That's considered an affliction. Rechitza minalan. How do you know that not bathing is considered an affliction? Amar Rav Zut. Yeah, ask someone, I guess. Amar Rav Zutra bar Tuvia. Rav Zutra bar Tuvia says, Amar Kura batavi kamayim bekirbei v'chashemen batzmeisa. There's a comparison here. It says it comes like water inside him and like oil on his bones. See, bathing is like oil. And oil, we said, not putting on oil was an affliction. So not bathing is an affliction. Where it says ve'ima kishtia. How do you know it means bathing? Maybe it means drinking, not drinking, because it says water. How do you know which water? Bath water or drinking water? It says dumya deshemen. It's comparable to oil. Mashemen me'avroi af mayim me'avroi. Just like the oil is from the outside, also water is from the outside. That means we're referring to bathing. But
early on, we said that we also mentioned oil and metals.
Right.
That was it.
Yeah. But here in this one pasuk it says Vatavi Kamayim Bekirbe Shem. In this pasuk. Okay. Yeah, so the water gets absorbed. Yeah. That's why people use filters for their whole house instead of just for the tap, because of the bathing, whatever's in the water can get absorbed inside the skin. Not like it's all bad stuff. It's probably good stuff too. Okay. We have another brisa that says exactly the opposite. We were saying that we know that ointments are affliction. You don't put on ointments, it's an affliction. How do you know that not bathing is also affliction? Look at this brisa, it's exactly the opposite. The Tanan, minayin l'sicha shu kishtia. How do you know that ointments is like drinking b'yom kippurim? See, here we're saying that tavi kamayim b'kirbei is not bathing even. Now this it's a stronger question. It's not bathing; it's drinking. Ela maravashi rechitza migufa dekra shmiela. The rechitza itself, we don't need this pasuk. We know from the pasuk itself. It says that he didn't put on any ointments. Didn't put on any ointments. And ointments over here, he didn't put on anything on his skin, which would refer to water as well. Okay, I think we should leave it over here. There's a whole big Gemara, but it's going to take us a while. Okay.